morning, good afternoon. I'm like, well, I'm really out of it. Uh, Welcome to the podcast with my co-host, Gianni, Courtenay Turner, and Joe Croach. They'll be on. They'll be on soon. Um, I don't know where to start. I got so much stuff to talk about. So much anger. Matter of fact, I got to read something to you guys. The University of Kansas has a class on angry white males claiming that they are damaging women. And I don't know where they're getting all this stuff. They're castigating, demonizing white males. One politician said that she thinks that Americans waving the American flag is another form of white supremacy. I don't know where to get all this stuff. Now, there's an article in the paper today about a woman. She's a defector from North Korea. When she was like 16 years old, 13 years old, she escaped North Korea, went through the Gobi Desert. As anybody knows about geography, about the Gobi Desert, disgusting, terrible. Went through China and then went to South Korea, and she's into New York. Okay. She wrote a book about it, a very successful book, and she got accepted to Columbia University. She's a very smart girl. Well, you know what she says today? She says that going to Columbia is like being back in North Korea. They tell you what to say. They tell you what to be. It's inclusive. You have no freedom of speech. I hear that about a lot of the college, especially these high Ivy League college. Columbia is one of the best schools you can go to. I don't know and understand. What my feeling is that the professors that were students in the 70s are now professors, and they still have that liberal socialist attitude, and you just can't say anything anymore. Now you have cancel culture, which is terrible. They got rid of Dr. Seuss and all these. It's crazy. The statues are they get rid of statues. Anything with the past, but yet they keep bringing up the past of slavery. They keep bringing up that the whites have enslaved the blacks, and we have to do reparations. Matter of fact, President Biden, senile President Biden, demented President Biden, has said that they're going to have a committee to study reparations. In one of his stimulus packages, he has given a lot of leeway to reparations, and hidden in the money that's going out. For example, farmers in the Midwest, where most of the farms are, cannot apply for the stimulus money unless they're black or brown skinned. Now, of course, some of the white farmers have filed a lawsuit, and they stopped it. So now, let's analyze this. First of all, they stopped it. That means nobody's getting the money, okay? Why couldn't they just be fair about it and say, listen, anybody who can apply for it in a timely fashion can get considered for it? No. They say there's got to be blacks. So I don't know how many black farmers there are. Every time I see a commercial with farms, it's always a white guy. So I don't understand. Also, this particular passage in this infrastructure bill, stimulus bill, says that the black farmers, and these are people that are not really farmers. They say they're going to give them land. They're going to give them a mortgage for the property. They're going to give them all kinds of money. They're going to give them all kinds of stuff, but the whites can't get it. Now, what I feel is happening is, and I believe it's happening now, is that there's a backlash against all this stuff, all this woke stuff. For example, West Point, the superintendent of West Point just stopped all these critical theory, racial theory classes. He said it's ridiculous. The West Point cadets are not activists. They had a class, for example, understanding whiteness and white rage, and a classroom slide labeled "White Power" at West Point. I mean, this is ridiculous. They're making stuff up. Comedians are complaining about, can someone put this man in a nursing home? Okay, Mike Marciano, listen, Biden will be eventually going to a nursing home. His wife, they say is a doctor, she's a doctor of education, and she got her degree, from what I understand, and I don't want to say anything bad about her. I have nothing against her, but she got it from one of these online colleges in Delaware, where her husband was on the board of directors or something. And she's an educational doctor. She's not a medical doctor. And Joy Baha on The View said that Biden should make her Surgeon General. That's how stupid this woman is. How could you be a Surgeon General when she's not a physician? She's an educator. Okay, all right, let's And by the way, there's a lot of archival evidence that Biden lied when he was in college. He lied when he was in law school. He lied about everything. He plagiarized the 1988 presidential campaign. He took somebody's speech from the Labor Department in England. I mean, I don't want to go into it. We're not here to talk about that tonight. But what is going on? I mean, it's like a lot of parents are complaining. I'll give you an example. One parent, I forgot what state he's in. He complained to the school board that critical race theory is not good for his kids. He has twin girls in middle school. Well, guess what? They graduated this week, and they banned him from the graduation. Said, no, he can't be there. Now, I don't know. I thought we had a First Amendment. I don't know what happened to the First Amendment. The leftists, the socialists don't want the First Amendment. They don't want the Second Amendment. They don't want any amendment. They want to get rid of the Constitution and do things their way. And I just think it's crazy. I think that the world is upside down. Look at the democratic cities, how the violence and the crime is escalating, and they keep defunding the police, demonizing the police, telling everybody that the police are racist and this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, a Black Lives. Oh no, this is really good. I take notes on all this stuff. Okay. All right. The Black Panthers have a Black Power radio. Malik Zulu Shabazz said it is time for the Black groups like Nation of Islam, UEP Newton Group, Gun Club, and the new Black Panthers organize and patrol to defend against police brutality. Now, I don't know how much police brutality there is. You had a couple shootings, and some of them, the cops were wrong. There's no two ways about it, and they've been prosecuted. But how many real cases of police brutality are there? Like a handful, maybe 6, 7 in the last 2 or 3 years. How many blacks have killed cops? How many blacks have killed themselves? How many blacks have killed each other over gang turf, over drugs? That's the only reason that they're killing each other. They're not killing each other because they want to kill each other. They're killing each other because they're taking out their business. You got all these different gangs. Now you got to remember one thing, and I'm not an expert, but I'm very observant of a lot of different things. I grew up in the Bronx. I went to a black high school. I know what's going on. A lot of the white people that are promoting or defending BLM, they're scared white people. That's what they are. They're scared. For example, they had a Black Lives Matter in Bronxville. Bronxville is a very exclusive community, very rich, all rich, white, mostly white people, a lot of liberals. Yet they marched with Black Lives because they were afraid that they might break their windows, they might do something. And this is, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm a racist, but I'm going to have to say this. When we were growing up in the Bronx, we used to hang out with the Jewish kids on Pullman Parkway. We defended them. When people came and bothered them, they looked to us, the Italians, to defend them. Okay? So I guess we were thugs, but we were the good thugs. Okay? Irish guys came from another neighborhood. We would defend the Jewish guys. Then we had to defend ourselves in our neighborhood against the blacks because they came in, the gangbangers. There were a lot of good black people. Most black people are good. But Joe, you think I'm can be cast as a race? I have black people come to my house for dinner. How many of these liberal assholes that, a matter of fact, one of them, I don't want to mention her name. She claimed that I was a racist because I made some sort of remark about something. I said, I'm a realist. Like, for example, LeBron James has $300, $200 sneakers that are made in Vietnam by Vietnamese kids that get 7 cents an hour. And I made mention of that. A black woman called me and said, "You're a racist." I said, "Why am I a racist? I'm a realist. This guy is abusing these children, but it's okay because he's black. And if a white person did it, they would be wrong." Now look what's going on with the stuff. I don't want to bring Trump into this, but I have to. A lot of the things that Trump said that he was vilified for, it came out true. This demonstration in Lafayette Park that they claim he did a photo op. That's not true. The Inspector General investigated that. The Fauci, all his emails are coming out showing that he was a liar. That hydrochloroquine, whatever, was effective against COVID. And he actually said that, but they went against that because they wanted to get the vaccine. Everything is hypocritical. And it's what our society is going to. I'll give you another example. New York Times editorial board, Mayor Gay, her last name is Gay. American flags are a sign of whiteness. It's a sign of supremacy. I don't understand that. Every country in the world shows their flag. That's their patriotism. You go to any soccer game, you go to any baseball game, anything, they flags, hey, whatever country they're from. But our country, it's racist. Okay. And I mentioned about the guy whose twin daughters couldn't even go to his own kid's graduation because he made mention of the critical race theory. And what is going on? I would really like to have someone come on this show and talk about CRT. Someone who could tell us how stupid we are because we don't understand it. And that's what another thing that someone said. The left claims that conservatives don't know what CRT is. We know what it is. It's wrong. It shouldn't have it. We shouldn't have this. Now, Nickel. I'm having trouble pronouncing things. I don't know what it is. Nickelodeon, the TV show for kids, their ratings have dropped 2/3. Okay, drastically dropped. Why? They have shows about transgenders, about queers, about pansexuals, which they're inclusive for kids. Parents don't want their kids watching that. Let them grow up and learn this stuff naturally, not at 6 or 7, 5 years old. I mean, they're indoctrinating them. They're trying to brainwash them into their frame of mind. And the parents, I guess some parents saying, "Wait a minute, I don't want my kids watching this stuff." And so someone said, I had black people in my house. I cooked for them. I'm a very good cook. I had them come over. I was showing one of my recipes, and I had them over. Nice people. I live in a building where I'm the only white person, and I get along with everybody, so I'm no racist. Okay? Anybody who says I'm a racist, I take umbrage to that word. Racist. Okay. Now let's hear from my other co-host because I think I said enough and I slurred enough, and I mispronounced a few words. Okay, Joe, what do you got to say? You make so many snide remarks tonight.
Vinny, you actually had black people in your house, really?
Yes, I did. I had for dinner.
Could you make a more racist comment, really?
No, I have a black.
Like, okay, so here. Listen, I'm here.
I have guys in the gym are black. I'm friendly with them. So I don't know what this racist is about.
So I'm here to support you, right? And
I
love
know,
you.
but I'm making a statement.
So we are trying to show the liberals and the idiot Democrats out there that we conservatives are anything far from racist. And you go and say, I even had black people in my house. Do you know how funny that is?
I shouldn't say
that's,
even. Maybe
Vinny, that's freaking hysterical, man. You're killing me, all right? I even had a black guy in my house once. That proves I'm not racist. Do you know how racist that sounds?
As Hillary Clinton said, I misspoke. Okay.
Dude, that guy Jerry Brown is cracking up right now. Your buddy Jerry Brown that was commenting on the show one day a couple of months ago. Anyway, all right. So
and he's a good black friend of mine. So what's the big deal?
Anyway, I'm really happy that you had a black guy in your house.
I don't understand why people have to say black and white. If a person is a person, whatever color they are, and you accept them, they're good. Everybody has the same blood. Everybody has the gray matter in their head. Everybody has.
All right, now you're just backpedaling.
Yeah, I can backstroke too. I can even swim back.
All right, listen. Anyway, listen, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to my daughter Dana, who's watching tonight. Hi, sweetheart. Hope you enjoy the show. My friend Brad is watching. Brad, enjoy the show. My cousins are watching. My friends are watching. God bless everybody. So listen, Ben, critical race theory. Critical race theory. Listen, you know who you should have had on for critical race theory was Courtenay, because she's a subject matter expert on this.
I know,
but I'll tell you what. Basically, critical race theory is trying to teach people, kids in school, from grammar school, college level. They're trying to push this in the military. They're trying to push this in government programs and everything else, that white people are inherently, by our very nature, because we're white, we have no choice. We're racist. And we need to admit that to start the healing process to begin. And if you say, by the way, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think this is a complete crock of shit. But anyway, and when you say I'm not a racist, that's they also say that that's you're in denial, and that means that you're a racist who's in denial. So that's basically the original, the starting point of critical race theory that begins to. We're not perfect, we're human beings, but white people need to understand that we're oppressive, and we don't mean to be that way, but it's just in our very nature. It's a load of nonsense, okay? The United States of America was founded for that crap to go away, and it took us a while to evolve, right? There was a time when slavery was legal, and you can't fault the mindset of the people 200 years ago for what they thought was normal. Again, we talked about this on one of your earlier shows. No. Slavery at the time in the 1800s was legal, okay? That was their mindset back then. We have come to know now, as we have evolved, that slavery is wrong. It is evil. That people of other colors are human beings, whereas back then they thought they were property. And they to humanize, to give humanity to a black person was a crime, because the minute you begin to consider them human beings, then you have to consider their feelings, and that you're torturing them and you're enslaving them. So they wanted to be in denial of all that back then, but we've come so far past that. Critical race theory and all the modern leftist Marxist garbage that they're pushing down our kids' throats and our throats now is they want to victimize the black people, the African Americans, but it goes so far beyond that. As long as we're fighting with each other, we don't see what the government's doing. And that's the point behind this. Divisiveness makes a stronger government. And that's the point. So critical race theory is really not the point. And racism is not the point. And yes, it's absolutely 100% true. There is no big epidemic of police officers killing black Americans. It's a made up, you know how when Trump was president and they said that the border crisis was a made up crisis, it was a fabricated crisis, there really was no crisis at the border. Well, they're doing it now. Because if you look at how many African American men are shot to death by cops each year, the number is such a tiny, tiny percentage. Are there cops in this world that are assholes? Absolutely. But I would hazard a guess that there are just as many racist cops out there as there are racist people percentage-wise in the population. So if 3% of the United States population is racist, then that projects onto the police departments, and maybe 3% of the police departments are racist, which means that 97% of them are good, hardworking guys that are just doing their jobs. The reason that the left and the Democrats are pushing this agenda is because it divides the country. And a divided country looks to its government for support and for strength and for leadership. So the more the government divides the country and the more we fight each other, the more Kamala Harris, I would like to say Joe Biden, but he's like, I don't even know where he is. The more the government, the more the Democrats take over. And that's what they want. Because if God forbid, if heaven forbid, the African Americans of the United States and the white people and the Indians and the brown people and the yellow people and the green people, if we all came together and stopped fighting amongst ourselves, then we would be able to turn and look at the government saying, what the hell are you guys doing? And they don't want that. They don't want us to see the crap that they're pulling. The higher taxes, the Green New Deal, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's all a plan to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's what it's about.
That's a socialist ideal.
You got it.
That's what socialists want to do.
That's what they want to do. So, I mean, literally, if you keep following this, and the problem with we as conservatives and the Republicans is we play the game by their rules. We have to stop doing that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Stop playing the game by their rules. You want. Thank you, Mike. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. Marciano. Thank you very much. So basically, we have to stop playing the game by their rules. And some families are starting to do that. If you look at some of these news reports that have been out lately, I've been watching CNN and NBC, and you don't see it on any of those, but you see it on Fox and you see it on One America News and the other one I can't remember. But there's these parents now are going to the PTA meetings and they're going to the school board meetings and they're saying, stop, you're not teaching this in our school. We don't want to hear about critical race theory, and you're not going to have some, they got this show. I watched a commercial on it the other day where they got this a transvestite woman dressed up. It's a guy, a drag queen, telling children's stories to the kids. And the reason it's called indoctrination, right? When you watch murders on TV, when you watch action films and you watch Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson and Clint Eastwood and all and you watch these guys killing people over and over again, you see a lot of death in your movies. You become desensitized to it. So it becomes like, whatever, another guy got killed. So then when you see real murders on TV and drive-by shootings, you're not as affected by it. You become desensitized. That's what they're trying to do with these books they're pushing in school. Johnny has two mommies. Sarah has two daddies, whatever. You know what? There's nothing wrong with two gay people adopting a child. But there is something wrong with trying to shove it down the throat of a 6-year-old. There's a problem with that. They don't need to know that. You're robbing the children of their innocence. It's ridiculous.
Well, also, I don't know why they're doing it, but the socialists, Democrat social, I use the terms loosely. What they're doing is they want to. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about defunding the police. Why? They want chaos in all these liberal democratic cities. The murder rate, the crime rate is exceedingly high, and it's going higher and higher. And they keep trying to get rid of the cops. Now, I don't understand the reasoning behind it, because a lot of these cities have a lot of blacks in it, and they're killing each other. Why don't they address that issue? They don't. They're letting them kill each other, and it's crazy. And they don't. A matter of fact, some of the people in Black Lives Matter are complaining that the Black Lives Matter is not doing anything for them. They're raking in money. The leaders are buying houses, expensive homes. And what are they doing for their own people? Nothing. And I don't understand why these liberal mayors and even the district attorneys in some of these cities now, they're knocking down felonies to misdemeanors, and they're making misdemeanors into violations. And they're letting people, like, for example, in San Francisco, Oakland, that area, they claim that misdemeanors of stealing, shoplifting is okay if it's under $950. Now listen to this. People have been going into Walgreens on bicycles, stealing stuff left and right, and the security guards and the employees let them go. They're told don't do anything because the prosecutors are not going to prosecute them. So what the hell are you going to do? So what happens is Walgreens has closed 17 stores in that area. Now, how does that affect the people? Now, people have to go to Walgreens to get their pharmaceuticals, get their prescriptions made. Now, where are they going to go?
Did you got Vinny, just to interrupt you for a minute. Did you see that video they played on the news last night? You got the two people in the Walgreens, and I forget the state, forgive me, but they were videotaping this guy who rides into Walgreens on his bicycle. And he gets off his bicycle and he opens up a black hefty bag, you know, them big contractor hefty bag, and he just empties off the shelves into this bag. Now the security guard and some bystander are videotaping the guy filling up this bag. I don't know what the hell was in it. I couldn't tell what shelf he was by. He wraps up the bag, he puts it over his shoulder, and he starts riding out past the security guard. Now the security guard made a feeble attempt to grab the bag, but then just pulled back, and the video shows the guy riding out of the Walgreens with this bag full of, I don't know, hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. And subsequently, not subsequently, but before that, Walgreens has closed like 9 stores in that area, 17. And they're calling Walgreens racist. Yeah, they're racist because they don't like getting robbed to death, and nobody could do anything. Now, if that guard would have knocked that guy off that bicycle and the guy broke his face on the ground, Walgreens would have got sued. The cop, the security guard would have lost his job, and the guy would have had a great lawsuit. It's unbelievable, okay? They're very lucky I was not in that Walgreens that day. Because not only would I have taken the bag away from him, but I would have taken his bicycle home and given it to one of my kids.
Right, listen.
Got to make sure that when a thief comes into your home or your store to rob you, that they lose more than they would have gained. They would have gained if they got away with it. Joe, committing a crime used to be where the penalty outweighed what you might get in profit from the crime itself. Now, the crime is profitable because of their tactics. But again, I don't mean to go back to the original point. When there's, and not to make a pun on your show, but when there's no law and order and you have disorder, then the police department becomes impotent. And that gives more power to the government because what they eventually want to do is create what's called a police state, right? So now they're going to empower either the National Guard or the U.S. military. And so the police departments are going to become benign, unarmed. I actually saw some lady who's running for the mayor of New York, and she's pro disarming the police. So a cop shows up to a robbery with bad language. That's not happening. Let these people come to my neighborhood. Let them come to my neighborhood because in my neighborhood, all you are is target practice.
Hi, Joe. Brett Baker from CBS News said about the shoplifters in what we just discussed. He said that these are acts of desperation that we should let them steal from Walgreens. So let's say we go to CBS and steal some of their microphones. That would be an act of desperation. They're going to let us get away with it? No, they're full of shit. They are hypocrites. All these people that want to defund the police and all this stuff, like, oh, Mayor Wiley, the one that you just talked about, Maya Wiley, she's running for mayor.
That's her. I forgot her name. Thank you. That's the lady.
Okay. She has security guards in her neighborhood. Now, here's her excuse. Oh, her live-in boyfriend, a white guy, I got to say that, he's paying for it, that she had nothing to do with. It's full of shit. Also, she claims that these rich billionaires, guess who's funding her? George Soros, a billionaire. She's so full of shit, it's unbelievable. And the other one running for mayor, they all want to defund the police. I don't know why. The crime rate in New York City is out of control. You got people in Washington Square Park attacking people, doing drugs, and cops don't do anything. They're afraid to do anything because of the mayor. Now, the new mayor hopefully will be more conservative, either Curtis Sliwa or Eric Adams. I believe Eric Adams is going to win. I mean, he most likely. And I hope, I met the guy. He's pretty good. He's a former police officer.
Eric Adams is a conservative Democrat or a middle-of-the-road Democrat. I don't like everything he says, but I got to tell you, he's the least of all evils over there.
Yes, the least of all evils.
We're not going to be lucky enough to get Curtis Sliwa as the mayor. I love the guy. Curtis Sliwa's awesome. I love him. He's great. But let's face it, New York is far too liberal to elect him. And if I was in Manhattan, if I was a Manhattan resident, I would vote for him, absolutely. But I don't live there. I don't have a vote there. But if we get Eric Adams, you know what? It's okay. It's better than the other ones.
He might be effective, maybe. I don't know. He can't listen. Nobody could be worse than De Blasio. De Blasio is a known Marxist. No two ways about it. And he's ruined the city. His wife, who's got $1 billion worth of nothing for her Thrive thing, no one knows where the money went. And I guarantee that she put about 20 of her friends on payroll for this Thrive, all making big money, doing nothing. Nothing. Now, where do you get a woman, the first lady of a city, a mayor's wife, with 27 assistants? This is ridiculous. None of the mayor's wives, maybe they have one or two assistants, one to set up their scheduling and one to do administrative work. That's it. 27. She just gave everybody a job. That's what she does.
There's my buddy Ed.
That's what they used to say about Dinkins.
Oh
Dinkins
my God,
terrible,
Dinkins. Does anybody remember Mayor Dinkins? That was a funny guy. That was a funny guy.
I got to tell you, did you ever meet the guy? The nicest guy.
No, I never met him, but.
Nice guy. The only thing I can say good about him, he knew how to play tennis well. That's it. He was a city clerk for 25 years, okay? He never did any, as a city clerk, all he does is sign birth certificates and marriage certificates. That's all he does. They made him the mayor.
Yeah, and, he reminds me, Mayor Dinkins reminds me of like Al Sharpton without the racism.
Yeah, yeah. But at least he's a gentleman.
Here we go, Vinny. Do your shameless plugs, Vin.
My 3 books. I got a 4th book coming out next week called Rogue PI. Oh my God, it's all about high-profile cases, and I was asked to do that by somebody in Amazon. So I hope they're going to promote that book. And then I finished another one today, but I'm not going to talk about that. You got three books here. Mafia Double Cross seems to be doing very well. Investigations After Dark is doing good, and the Detective's Kitchen is holding its own. So I'm very proud of that. And my daughter is banging out cases left and right. She's doing great work. Of course, she learned from the best. Well, really the second best. We haven't found the best. And that's my YouTube channel, Parco Media. We got a cooking show on there, but it's not. Ed, are you around? Eddie Chaney? Is he on tonight? I saw him before.
Hey, Vin, you gotta watch. You gotta watch what you say because my internet was cutting out a little bit in and out while you were talking, and I heard my daughter is banging somebody, and I don't know who she was banging, but yeah, that's really not appropriate for the show.
I'm not an appropriate guy.
You said she's banging out cases.
Oh, banging out. Well, yeah,
it was a joke, Vin. Oh my God.
No. Wait a minute. Detectives use that. We have our own lingo. All right. I'm going to backtrack on that. No, getting out cases, banging them out, bang, boom, bam, bing, bang.
I got you.
I'm doing. I have my own cases where I do financial assets. I'm only allowed to do financial assets and background, and I'm very busy with that too. But that and doing books and this. Well, I keep busy. I keep busy. No, Ed Ciani's not on tonight.
No, I don't see him, but he's commenting.
He commented. Wow.
So anyway,
we have so much to talk about in general. I know. I get. Um, I get complaints that I go off on tangents. Well, that's the way I am. That's the way. That's the way I am. But the meat of this show is law and disorder. We have a lot of disorder. It's all over the country. Not only just we're not just talking about New York or Florida. Now I want to ask you something, Joe. What is going on in these red states now? The red states obviously are a Republican conservative, okay, and they're changing the laws to favor voting. Now the liberals are saying that.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Some of the red state governors got sick of all the crap that happened on the last election. And basically, this is how the Democrats and the liberals love to spin this is so the red states, Georgia, a couple of the other states, they are requiring voter ID. They are outlawing unsolicited ballots. So if you request a mail-in ballot, you will get one. But to send one to every registered voter in the state based on the registrations of 4 years ago, and a quarter of those people don't even live in the state, they're outlawing things that will promote fraud. And what they're not telling you, what the liberals aren't telling you, is they added drop boxes. They extended the dates that you could vote early. They're not making it harder to vote. They're just making it harder to cheat.
Yeah.
And that
and
is
they don't
racist.
like that. They do not like
and
that.
The argument, and if you believe the argument that the liberals are telling you, is that, a lot of black voters, they can't get an ID.
Why can't they? They can get ID to get on a plane. They get ID to go to a baseball game.
You got to show ID for everything, to pay your taxes, to go to a liquor store, to get a driver's license, to register your car. You can't do anything without an ID. But it's racist to ask for an ID at the voter booth. Kiss my ass.
This racist thing, what they're doing is they're labeling anything that they're against, it's racist. That's it. Now, I heard that. Oh, this is crazy. Yesterday, I read something where they're claiming that bird names are racist. Now, how do you get bird names of being racist? Now, they're not naming the birds. Wait, Joe. They're not naming the birds Robert E. Lee. They're not naming them. They're not naming them after Confederate soldiers or historical figures. They're giving them names. Names. Whatever's appropriate for the bird. They're racist. So but now also they're changing the holidays. They don't want holidays. They just want to say it's a day off. So there's no Rosh Hashanah. They don't want to hear Rosh Hashanah. They don't want to hear Columbus Day. They don't want to hear Yom Kippur. They don't want to hear Christmas. It's a day off. What is going on? Why are they doing that, Joe? Why are they doing that?
It's the same principle, Eddie. It's all about control.
They want one party state. They want the Democrats want a socialist state, and now what they're doing is they're saying that anybody who is a conservative or that voted for Trump or is a Republican is a white supremacist. So what about a black man that votes Republican? There are black Republicans. So are they racist too? Come on, give me a break.
Okay, so they're not a problem. They're not a problem because an African American that voted for Donald Trump, which, by the way, he had the highest percentage of the African American vote ever, not enough, but more than ever before. So an African American who voted for Donald Trump is not a problem for the Democrat Party or the liberals. The problem is we white males who make up a huge percentage of the country. We're the problem. So they need to eliminate us. They need to eliminate our voice. And, you know, luckily, thank God, despite Facebook and despite YouTube and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, beside all of them, we still have the numbers. So they're not going to quiet us down yet. They're not going to shut us up just yet. But it's all in the same thing. The more they divide the country, the more they take control. If they get, you know, right now the number one target are the Catholics and Christians. It's not the Jews, it's not the Arabs, it's the Christians. We're being targeted more than anybody else. Why? Because we make up the greatest percentage in the country are the Christians, are the Catholics. We're the biggest number. So, you know, that block vote is worth something there.
Why doesn't the Christians and the Christians, the Catholics and Christians, they're all Christian, band together as a group? And that's the only way you could fight this, is at the group, because of because of divisiveness and because of the dividing the country. That's how they get their power. If the majority is supposed to rule. Am I correct? That's the law. The majority rules. But if the majority gets split up into factions, they're not going to rule, and that's what they want to do.
There you go. Now you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. If they can split up the majority and confuse everybody, they win. But I want to give hope to the people that are watching and hope to the United States of America in that this is the thing. There is the extreme left, and we've talked about this on your show before. There is the extreme left, the Marxists, the ultra-liberal crazy people, and there are the very, very few percentage, which I think is a lot smaller percentage, of the extreme right, the white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, those crazy people on the right that think that, you know, white people are better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Most of the country, most of the United States of America does not fall in either group. Most of the United States of America falls in the middle. So you've got your middle of the road Republicans and your middle of the road Democrats make up most of the country. And these guys are just going to keep digging their hole and digging their hole. They're going to lose the 2022 midterms. I hope somebody's recording this show, and you can mark my words. I will bet the house.
By the way, all the shows are recorded on YouTube.
Good.
And
The
Facebook.
Democrats will lose the House and the Senate on the 2022 midterms. They will absolutely lose the 2024 presidential election. Now, I don't know who's going to run and who's going to win. There's a lot of talk about Donald Trump running. Great. If he does, he'll win. If he doesn't run, whoever Donald Trump endorses will win the 2024 election. You guys saw it here first on Vinny Parco, Law and Disorder. I said it. We're going to take the House and the Senate in 2022, and we're going to take the presidency in 2024. And it's not because of wishful thinking or anything like that. Just keep giving Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Shalid Raleigh, whatever her name is, I can't even pronounce it. Give the AOC +3, give them enough rope to hang themselves with. We're losing jobs. I just paid $3.15 a gallon to fill up my truck today. Let people keep doing that. Let people keep paying.
In California, it's $6 a gallon.
Yeah, let people keep paying $18 at Home Depot for a 2x4. Let that keep happening. Then don't anybody worry, because this crap is going to catch up to them, and they're going to lose because they're screwing up the country, and all this critical race theory in a couple of years isn't going to matter. What does matter is that we stand our ground. Don't play the game their way. Stand up for your rights. Be an American. And when a liberal gets in your face and calls you a racist because you have a flag on your car or in front of your house, this is still America. I love my flag, and I'll die for my country. And if the day that the American flag becomes racist, that's the day there is no more America. That's never going to happen. There's more of us than there are of them. There's more, and when I say us and them, there are more people who love this country than there are those that hate it. within the country. Anyway,
Well, what they're claiming, and it's very clever what they're doing, is they're claiming, oh, if you're a flag waver, you're a racist. If you're a flag waver, you're not a patriot. You're a supremacist.
So what flag would you like me to wave?
Joe, if you say that enough times, some people are going to believe it. That's what they do. They keep saying it.
Those are the people that watch professional wrestling and the people that listen to Howard Stern. Those people will believe.
Don't say anything bad about Howard Stern. I've been on his show.
Howard Stern is a no-talent shock jock who got famous by saying vagina on the radio.
I know.
He's an idiot. He has no talent. And I would debate him any day of the week. He has zero talent. He's a retard. Please don't even talk to me about Howard Stern.
He made a lot of money doing that.
He made a lot of money because there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I was on his show, and the people that called in were dumb and dumber. Okay.
He's not funny. He's not funny.
No, he's not funny. He's a nice guy, but I got to tell you, I can't say anything bad about him. He was very nice to me.
No, you want to know why? You want to know why? Listen, I don't mean to go off topic here, but you want to know why I don't like Howard Stern?
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why I don't like Howard Stern. When Howard Stern was a nobody, and they were walking him around the studio, introducing him to people, there was a famous jock out there called the Grease Man. His real name is Doug Tract, and his stage name was Nino Grease Manelli, and he was the Grease Man, and he was syndicated all over the country. And one of the producers wanted to introduce the Grease Man to this new guy, Howard Stern, and the Grease Man was a little bit arrogant, and he said, I don't have time to meet every little upstart that you bring into the studio, and he kind of blew him off. Howard Stern was very insulted by that, and he said in his head, he said, one day when I get famous, I'm going to destroy this son of a bitch. And he did. And he ruined, once Howard Stern got syndicated and famous, he actually made like a deal with the studios. He said, it's either me or him. And Howard Stern was so popular at the time that they got rid of Nino Grease Manelli, Doug Tract, and they ruined his show. Now he's playing in some little radio station down in Florida. And Howard Stern went worldwide, and he ruined the career of a brilliant radio guy. And I kind of like the Grease Man, so that's my whole animosity to Howard Stern.
I can understand that, yeah.
But whatever.
I can understand that. So we have any more? I know we have a lot of people like Mark Marciano and a few others like to interject. Tony Rosati said something before. I couldn't catch him. Tony, what did you say? He was saying something about that Joe was correct. Something about that.
Joe's correct about everything. Joe's correct about everything. I challenge. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm correct about everything. I'm correct about everything until Ed or Courtenay come on the show, and then they correct me. But no, seriously, I still challenge, and I do this like almost every show, I challenge any liberal to come on this show, present your facts, and I will send you home with no lunch and no coat.
I had a guy in my gym wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. So I went over to him. I said, hey, you want to? Oh, I don't want. He just wearing the shirt. He didn't want to defend them.
Okay, Black Lives Matter. Listen, I support the African American community. If you're an American citizen, I don't care what color you are. Okay, Black Lives Matter does not. I repeat, does not represent anybody. They represent themselves and all the money they're making. They could give a crap less about African Americans, because if they did, they would be more concerned about how many African Americans have shot each other than the 5 that have been shot by cops in the last year. It doesn't. The numbers don't add up. It's a fabricated crisis that doesn't exist.
Let me tell you what bothers me about in the ghetto about all this shooting. They're not shooting each other. They can't shoot. Joe, you have a lot of guns. You're a sportsman. You know how to shoot. These guys don't know how to shoot because they can't practice. So when they shoot, they spread all their bullets out and they hit innocent people. How many 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds have been killed in their crib because a bullet went through their window.
I
and
want to know how they're doing that. Freaking ammo's $1,000 a crate right now. I don't get how they're spraying bullets all over the place like this and can afford it.
Well,
They
they're
must be
making
doing
money
something
selling
right.
drugs. They could care less.
All right, there you go with the racist shit again. So basically, you're saying all black people deal drugs.
No, I didn't say black. I said they.
How am I supposed to support your show when you say shit like that?
Because I say shit like that. No, the truth matters. The truth matters.
That's Courtney's
blacks
show.
Are killing
Don't
blacks.
be stealing Courtney's lines.
They
The truth
don't know.
matters
Blacks
is
are
Courtney's
killing
show.
blacks, and nobody's addressing that. They do not address that.
Yes, I agree with Anthony. Black Lives Matter is not the biggest domestic terrorist. They're the second
But they
biggest.
are a terrorist group.
No, they're the second biggest domestic terrorist group. The biggest domestic terrorist group in the United States is Antifa.
Oh yeah. Who was it that said they're only a thought? They're only an image. Biden.
Oh, that was Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler said that was a fantasy. That was a fantasy that Antifa doesn't really exist.
Took a shit on the stage.
So it was my grandmother that dropped off the pallet of bricks in Minnesota at the corner just before the peaceful protest. Yeah, that was my uncle that did that.
Well,
Give me a break.
The Antifa and Black Lives Matter were rioting, burning things, and then CNN and the leftist radio station, the TV, was saying, "Oh, they're peaceful protests," and Kamala Harris said they're peaceful protests.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that months ago? The CNN guy saying, "Oh, it's mostly peaceful protest," with the building in the background burning.
Yeah,
that was classic. I have that saved. It's on one of my computer screens over here. I have that whole video saved.
But I got to say something before the show's over. You know, January 6th was a very important day. A lot of people that supported Trump went to Washington, D.C. Now, what I think happened is that the leftists saw an opportunity to really sock it to Trump. Some of the Antifa and BLM, and they were on video. You were there. I mean, you didn't see this, but I saw videos of them there. They promoted this insurrection. Now, I'm not saying that they did everything. There was a lot of Trump people that got a little carried away. I have to admit that they got carried away. They got inside the Congress, but the left has made a big deal about it. They want to have commissions about it, but they don't talk about the
no, actually,
4 months of rioting, destroying almost all of Portland and Seattle.
Hey, Vin, I don't like to interrupt you, but let me tell you something about January 6th, with this just coming to light. I just heard about this the other day. There was a news report I was watching on Fox. I need to confirm some more stuff. But according to the news that I heard, there are 20 unindicted people of interest that are related to January 6th, and all 20 of them are FBI agents. The FBI agents, not only, they didn't just infiltrate what they thought were accusing people of being a right-wing conspiracy group, like a right-wing violent group, militia, that kind of thing. They actually incited it. The FBI is not allowed to do that. Okay.
No, but why did they do it?
The FBI is part of their job. They can infiltrate a group and listen to what's going on and report back to headquarters and stop something before it happens. But what you have here is FBI agents that were actually organizing and infiltrating and inciting people. Yeah, we got to take our country back. And a bunch of people that were probably easily influenced and angry, and they just needed a little push to go over the edge. And the FBI, 20 non-indictable people right now are up in Washington, D.C., and if you watch last night's Tucker Carlson, and I know Tucker Carlson, a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't like him, but he doesn't lie, and he doesn't say things that he can't prove. 20 of those people are FBI agents that infiltrated groups of right-wing conservatives, and not only infiltrated and reported back, they antagonized. They caused it. And I never heard this before yesterday. If anybody has that show recorded, go back and watch it. It's amazing.
Well, I'll get it on YouTube later on. You know, So that's Parco Media, YouTube channel, Parco Media Law and Disorder. Okay, good. That's great. What else? We got a couple of minutes left.
Yeah, you'll never get that. You'll never find out who shot Ashley Babbitt because she was an unarmed white woman, and it doesn't fit the narrative. Had that person been, yeah, you know what? Nobody was charged with sedition. If you look at, and that's the other thing too. The White House, the feds will not release 10,000 hours of video from the January 6th Capitol insurrection, whatever you want to call it. Why? Because it shows a bunch of stupid hillbillies walking in going, yay! And they went in there and they sat down in the lounge chairs and they took pictures of each other. Does that sound like an insurrection? Hey,
No.
people, wake up. You want to know what an insurrection is? Go down to South America and go down to Cuba back in the days of like when they showed The Godfather. That was an insurrection. They burned people, they burned buildings to the ground and cut people's heads off and shot everybody and hung up Louis XIV and that's an insurrection. What happened at the Capitol was like a party.
Yeah.
Nobody did shit.
They exaggerate things to fit their own narrative.
Did you see the guy with the horns on his head and that stupid outfit? He walked in, hey guys, he was like he was smoking a joint or something. That's not an insurrection.
Now, Joe, one of the guys that was there got $60,000 from 3 different networks, CNN and a couple. He videotaped this whole thing. Now, why do you think he videotaped? Because he wanted this insurrection. If they weren't doing anything bad, he wouldn't have made any money. So they had people there that were purposely there to start trouble. And
you got that one clip. There's one clip of the Capitol riot where those people were breaking that one window, where they were smashing the window. That was all the violence. The one cop that died had a heart attack, and Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed woman, died. Those are the only 2 cases of people that died during that riot. But one of them was shot by the Capitol, and they were, going in, and the other one was a cop who had, who died of a stroke or a heart attack later on.
By the way,
you got to look at the videos. Look at what the people were doing. They waltzed in there. They're waving their stupid flags. They're sitting around with their Trump shirts on, and they're hanging around, and they're all happy like they did something. It wasn't. Now go turn around and look at Portland, Oregon, and Minnesota, and all the burning buildings and the police departments with cops in them with the buildings burning down. That's an insurrection. Nobody wants to know about that. Everybody wants to know about January 6th.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed that she was attacked. She was like blocks away from the whole thing.
She wasn't even there. Let me tell you something about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know what amazes me about her? That her brain generates enough electricity to keep her heart beating.
That's about it. Yeah. She comes up with the dumbest thing. What about let's not build jails. Let's build more hospitals. So a guy's a murderer. You're going to put him in a hospital. You got to put him in a jail. But it's funny about these socialists. They want to defund until they get robbed, until they get mugged, and then all of a sudden they become conservatives. What's a conservative? A liberal that got mugged. I mean, that's an old saying. But it's true. I mean, look at that guy. He's running for mayor of some city. I forgot where. His car got stolen in daylight. He goes to the police, and this is a guy who wants to defund the police. They're all full of shit. Mayor Wiley, you mentioned her before. She wants to defund the police. She has security guards in her place. All these elite Hollywood stars that they don't want you to build a wall with Mexico. They all have walls around their homes. You can't go near their houses.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't afford a $500,000 a year private security detail.
Yeah, but they can. And then they tell everybody else, oh, you guys, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But now it's time to go home. I got about 55 messages I hope they're all good messages about what the show.
Oh,
tonight.
Vinny, after tonight's show, they're going to want to hunt us down and kill us.
Well, I'm available. They want to shoot me, kill me. I want to tell everybody thank you.
Anybody comes after you, just come to my house. I got plenty of guns.
Thank you, Joe. Covering for me. And as we say on Arthur Avenue, Little Italy, sempre noi. Good night, everybody.
God bless everybody.
God bless.